The fire blew sparks toward the heavens like stars seeking to return to their high, dark home. But there was no joy in this blaze, no celebration. What had once been a proud lodge was now little more than piles of ash huddled in the shadows of flickering, ember-lit logs. "I'm sorry, Viscar." The old Skald placed his hand on the boy's shoulder. "There is nothing we can do. Your father lost the house and everything in it on his last wager with Grimhilda. She had the right to do whatever she chose with her winnings." She cheated, but I can't prove it. What of my father, Fiach?" The youth snarled the words, biting off the syllables like a wolf gnawing its leg out of a trap. "Did she have the right to kill him too?" Old Fiach sighed. He was wrong to attack her. There will be no retribution from the Wolfborn of Holbrack for Grimhilda's actions. Nor should you seek vengeance upon her, Viscar. You are a new hunter, barely old enough to bear your own blade. Grimhilda is powerful, and legends of her cruelty are told at the moot to frighten children and humans. Shaking his head, the Skald pulled a leopard fur cloak closer about his wary bones. "Put away your anger, young one. Bury your father. Leave this matter to the crows." "No." Viscar wiped away his tears with the back of his hand, leaving soot stains across pale cheeks. "I may be young, Fiach, and I may be inexperienced, but I am still Norn."
"I am Norn, hunter of the wild, born of the free and rugged Shiverpeak Mountains. In the far north, my people fought our greatest enemy, Jormag, a dragon of frost and snow. The dragon broke our pride, but it did not break our spirit."
So what race do we want to play? Now, in terms of combat, it's not particularly a big deal, but for the story, well, it has a lot of consequence. There are 5 races in Guild Wars 2, and of the lot of them, I would say the one that was translated worst from the original game into the sequel, my humble opinion, is these guys, the Norn. So it'd take a particularly weird day for me to choose to play them. But hey, I don't know, I'm feeling lucky. Let's see what we think. The Norn, this race of towering hunters, experienced a great defeat when the Ice Dragon drove them from their glacial homeland. Nevertheless, they won't let one lost battle, however punishing, dampen their enthusiasm for life and the hunt. They know that only the ultimate victor achieves legendary rewards. Nice little reference there to legendaries, hey, which we'll all be going for in the end. So let's try out the Norn. We can choose male or female. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Well, there's the iconics of the races. Sagalkin's female. Maybe we should make a female Norn. And to be honest, I really like the ways you can set up female Norn. Their body shape and whatnot appeals to me more when playing the game, the way that the camera works, how much of your view they obscure and so on. But I want to pick a male here. Come on, it's got to be a big, badass, male, grueling Norn. Check him out, right? So we are going to play essentially the biggest race you can in the game. Some particularly enormous Char might be able to come somewhat close, but never that far. So yeah, let's do a Norn male, and then we get the question of class. And there has never been any doubt in my mind as to what the best thing to play as for a Norn is. Now, there's some really weird options you could go with, like a Norn Mesmer. That's like one of the rarest combinations we find in the game. Norn Engineer is a fairly rare idea. Norn Thief also, people don't tend to think about much. You'll see that this is a particularly short guy. For me, the Norn are best as Rangers. Rangers tame a variety of pet companions to complement their fighting style, rounding out their arsenal with traps, nature spirits, and survival skills. They have the tools to take on any type of foe. So there's an interesting thing that happens with Guild Wars 2, right? Where it names its combat class, its profession, the Ranger. And then it kind of gives you a race, the Norn, as a society of hunters. So most people think of the word hunter, they think of games like World of Warcraft, where you know, that's your bow wielder with a pet and whatnot. We kind of get both flavors here nonetheless. So yeah, we are going to be playing a ranger. I'll also note that very recently here at the start of 2019, the developers did change character creation just a bit. If you check here, there's 3 little snippets of flavor text, something I've advocated for in the past, which gives you a general vibe of what that profession can do. Here for Ranger, we see it says favors ranged, that it has a pet companion, and it's a naturalist. If we went to, say, Guardian, it says favors melee, supports allies, and has defensive magic. If we look at Elementalist, it says it favored range, elemental magic, versatile caster. In general, I think that this is a good idea, but the devs really missed the mark. I think that the elite specializations or something should have been written here. And that idea of favoring one particular combat range is absurd. That's not what Guild Wars 2 is at all. Every profession has weapons that are melee oriented, or alternatively has weapons that are long range oriented. The whole point of this game was not to break down classes, profession combat classes, into separate range thresholds, as many other games do. And now, so this seems really strange to me. I don't know why this was written, but hey, this video is not so much about that. There you go. So, Ranger, I'm gonna make our character look cool, so I'll see you in a second. I don't want him to be too bulky, so first of all, I'll just go over broad strokes with you guys. You can get some absolutely ludicrously massive Norn in this game, and particularly some of the body styles. You can have like really big bloated guys. I think in general, as a ranger, we're going to be wearing medium armor, and it's going to flare out on our lower half a bit quite a lot with our trench coats. So I want to be very careful we don't look totally crazy, so let's see. So something else to point out as well, obviously every race has a unique thing you can play with when it comes to visual customization. For the Char, it's like a fur pattern. For the Sylvari, it's your luminescence and whatnot. Well, here, for the Norn, tattoos are a big thing. This is a returning element of the culture and the peoples from the original game. There's lots of cool different tattoos out there and varieties. If we're going to go for, like, a ranger, I like the idea that this character we're building is going to be quite a ferocious, rough and tumble guy that spent a lot of time in the wilderness. So I actually really like this, this tattoo. The other thing is, as well, once you're wearing armor, you kind of don't get to see much, so the face paint tends to be more interesting to me. But here's like a cool selection of different paints we can go for. Maybe this is a cool one as well. I don't know, I'm not sure. But we're not going to go for like a conventionally attractive, you know, all really pristine looking Norn. He's going to look a bit rough, and he's going to, you know, he's going to have some stuff on his face, let me put it that way. Oh, I must point out as well, while we work on his beard here, there is the ludicrous mustache here. One of the most ridiculous things that they have in the character creator. I always think about a first-time player originally picking up Guild Wars 2 and seeing this as an option. But yeah, it's totally there. I'm going to go for facial hair. I'm not quite sure about his head hair just yet. But I want like these bands and things on there. I want like some, you know, trinkets, some jewelry of some kind. I think this one looks pretty cool as well. Very much a lot of the Norn feeling character stuff. It feels very dwarven-y to me. Like this hair I quite like as well. In fact, let's go for it. Let's go for this hair. Nice long hair. Manly man of the wilds. But, you know, reasonably well kept as well at the same time. Alright, so there we have it. This is our ranger. Let's answer our questions now about our backstory. And very much with the Norn story, what you guys will find is we really feel like, as a player, we are put in control of a character who's already had a rich life and been doing lots of different things. Very much unlike, say, when you make a Sylvari who's just snapped into existence there and you define everything they ever did. Here we're going to inhabit someone who's already been around on Tyria. First of all, we get our class question, and that is to do with our pet. So pets are the main mechanic and companion for the ranger profession. We'll talk about a lot. On the biography, you get to choose what even is your opening pet. So my pet, What, fights at my side and guards my back. Now, this is a creature that will have been at our side for as long as we can remember. And depending on the race that you choose, your starting selection of pets can actually alter. If we were a Char, for example, I believe like a Devourer will appear on the list. You only get 3, so what do we have? First of all, we can choose a bear. My bear and I fight as a single unit. It takes only the slightest gesture to give a command. Then we're tearing going through our enemies, okay? We got the wolf. A wolf companion is considered a great prize. When fully grown, it's a shrewd hunter and a devoted ally. And lastly, we've got the snow leopard in this awesome combat stance here. The beautiful snow leopard is a symbol of independence. Its grace and stealth make it both inspiring and an unbeatable hunter. Now, what you may notice here is that bear, wolf, and snow leopard are three of some of the most prominent Norn totems and spirits of the wild of whom they revere and their society and culture is kind of based around. So, as a ranger, we actually get to choose kind of which of these do we care about most. The one missing here is Raven. You don't get to choose Raven as an opening pet. Even though having ravens as pets is actually a thing in the game, you just kind of don't get that fourth box. What do I want to choose here? Well, I'm actually going to go wolf. Look, I'm a big wolf guy. I'll also note that bear is, like, to me, a badass pet that you should really get later on in the game. For Guild Wars 1, getting bears always felt really cool. Bears are super tanky as pets. Snow leopards are really aggressive as pets. Wolves are somewhere in the middle. We're going to go wolf. And actually, the way I'm imagining this character right now is he's very devoted to wolves, and that forms a lot of his life, which we will see soon. So let's move forwards. Trouble may follow me, but I use my what to overcome it. Well, we're going to choose ferocity here, which is very in keeping of a range of the wild that maybe doesn't know too much about social graces and so on, and you know, spent a lot of time with his wolf. Wolves are dangerous, vicious creatures in some respects, right? So ferocious. I'm ferocious. Threatening violence gets me further than anything else. I'm a natural, though I do try to use my powers of intimidation for good. And then we get to go for our story question. So first of all, my most important quality is that I have the necessary what? Strength to defeat ancient foes, cunning to protect the spirits, or intuition to guard the mists. So what I'm actually going to go for here is strength to defeat ancient foes. And how this affects our story going forward, who knows? I keep my body strong so that I can defeat our ancient enemies and protect the Great Lodge. Who are their ancient foes? Well, time will tell. Next, we get to choose some recent history. At a recent celebratory moot held in Holbrack, what? So, moots are these big celebrations and gatherings of Norn. We're hearing about one that happened recently. The game will actually open with another one as well, for what it's worth. But at a recent moot, what happened? Did I black out? Did I get in a fight? Or did I lose an heirloom? And I'm going to choose that we lost an heirloom, which is a facet of this character that's going to very much define a lot of him. Because as you see down here, I inherited Romka's Horn, a magical ancestral heirloom passed down through generations. After one too many drinks, however, I wagered it on a contest of strength and lost. So if we choose this option, we are the descendants of the great Norn legend and hero, Romka. What an interesting thought that is. So, yes, we lost this heirloom, and maybe we can do something to redeem ourselves later. Our final question here is that when I was still a kid, I had a vision. A spirit of the wild spoke to me and offered its guardianship. That spirit was... Well, now we get to decide. So, we can be of bear. Bear is the most powerful spirit among the spirits of the wild. She is a symbol of fortitude and self-reliance. She roared over me when I was a babe, and ever since, I've had Bear's courage in my heart. So Bear was kind of the really big centerpiece spirit of the wild and totem from Guild Wars 1. Bear form was like the main thing, and you know, Bear kind of took center stage. But there are many other prominent tokens. You've got Snow Leopard. Snow Leopard is a stealthy, smiling spirit. She teaches us independence, strategy, and laughter in the face of danger. To this day, her wisdom guides me, and my memory of her comforts me on dark nights. If we weren't like ferocious, I think maybe Snow Leopard might be really cool. I like the idea of it being a smiling spirit. We've got Raven as well, the mystery one that we couldn't choose as a pet. Raven, clever and wise, guides us with truths that others fear. He bestows a far-seeing clarity of mind. In my vision, he spoke of riddles and opened my eyes to secrets that few others can see. Now, this would be a really cool one to pair with, like, if we'd done the backstory to do with intuition and guarding the mists and stuff. And also here you'll notice that the spirits are gendered, right? Raven is, like, seen as a masculine spirit. Bear is seen as a feminine one. And then lastly we have Wolf, which, you know, we've lived with a wolf. I like the idea of going Wolf. Wolf has the cunning of the pack behind him. He imparts the virtues of loyalty, ferocity, and strength in numbers. When he came to me, he whispered of my heroic future and told me I would never be alone. Now, the broader themes of Guild Wars 2 are, as we will see, are about the races coming together and forming alliances. And I think that the family-oriented, the pack-oriented Wolf makes most sense for the ultimate hero and commander of the future. So there you have it. Though trouble may overcome me, I overcome it with ferocity. Wolf, my spirit guide, teaches me that there's a time for violence and a time for peace. I work hard to maintain my physical strength and prowess. And yet, in the past, I have been foolish. I wagered Romke's horn, an ancestral heirloom with magical properties, on a test of strength. I was overconfident, but I'm determined to get it back. I'm a ranger, and I have a wolf that fights at my side and guards my back. This is my story. We're going to be called Ulfric, which is kind of like Old Norse for wolf, as far as, you know, I think the actual word is like Ulfur or something. But we're going to go Ulfric, sort of a more Germanic version. And we're going to be called Romkason, as a descendant of Rumk. How cool is this? So, that's the character. Let's see how the game plays. And for what it's worth, this intro cutscene might be my favorite of them all, probably because of the music.
I am Norn, hunter of the wild, born of the free and rugged Shiverpeak Mountains. In the far north, my people fought our greatest enemy, Jormag, a dragon of frost and snow. The dragon broke our pride, but it did not break our spirit. In our last hour, we heard the voices of 4 of the spirits of the wild: Bear, Raven, Snow Leopard, Wolf. They called us south, away from certain annihilation. We founded the Great Lodge of Holbreck and claimed new hunting grounds. Some say we should not fight Jormag. I say the greatest risk is to wager nothing at all.
One day a hero will lead us home, and we will break the dragon's icy grip.
I was born in the fire of combat. My spirit has been forged and tempered like steel. Like my ancestors before me, I seek glory. One day, I will take my place among the heroes of the Norn. My strength is a gift from the spirits of the wild. With it, I can hold back the tide. I can move mountains. I can overcome anything that stands in my way. I am still untested, but already, my deeds have earned me friendship and great respect. Each year, a great hunt is called in Holbreck. Only the best among us are invited to participate. I shall use my might to collect trophies that prove my worth, then drink and boast of my victories. I accept this challenge. I relish it. Come, danger. Come, adventure. In the lodges and halls of my people, my strength will make me immortal. This is my story.
Yeah, I've never seen such an action hero, gung-ho, badass intro to the game. As a Norn, you are just hungry for adventure in the fight, and we're already a great trained warrior here. So, here we are, entering Tyria in an area of the Shiver Peaks we have not seen, known as the Wayfarer Foothills, or the Southern Wayfarer Foothills. There's these beautiful carvings into a mountain up there in the background. But first, a few things to talk about. As a ranger, we have a companion. This is this juvenile alpha wolf with us. We will get to name as a pet very soon, so don't worry about that just yet, guys. And yeah, as a ranger, as this great hero, only the best apparently are invited to the great hunt here at level 1. We are wielding a bow. Our first attack just being called long range shot, that basically just does more damage the further away the target is when we hit them. And it goes really far. As a longbow, 1500 range. That's like way beyond even a lot of casted abilities in the game. So, yeah, pretty nice. And yeah, we got to speak to Thora Griffinbane here. While lots of Norn are out partying, drinking, having fun.
Hey, Over here. You don't want to miss a chance for glory, do you?
Not necessarily. Interesting bit of trivia, by the way. The most recent release to the game, that is just a couple of weeks old as I make this video, Thora Griffinbane reappeared in.
Don't get your hopes up. I've clearly got the finest trophy.
Newt
Who are you
Whitebear
kidding?
found a curious
Yours is
beast
tiny
for you.
and smells of
He
rot.
calls it Isormir.
The
You
only
don't
thing
say.
tiny and rotten
Well,
here is your head.
Expect a few more injuries and maulings, then.
Okay, as you can see, the Norn are quite rough with one another, but it's okay. It's all in good conscience and fun and sport. All right, hey Thora, how's it going?
Hail, hero! Are you here to take part in this year's great hunt?
Of course I am. Just tell me what needs to be done and stand clear.
Hunt down the wildest animals you can find and take trophies from your kills. Present only the finest to Ido the Tanner to prove your worth. Whoever has the best trophy and whose bravery is the greatest will be invited to join the great hunt. Newt Whitebear has said this season's event will be one of the most dangerous, so be ready. I've even heard the renowned Erstigulkin might attend.
I look forward to impressing them both after I've earned my place in the hunt.
So, hunt and collect a trophy from a dire boar, the owl griffin sire, or a minotaur bull. We hear about a couple of great heroes there. First of all, Newt Whitebear, who has a really interesting place amongst these Norn, we'll see pretty soon.
The only thing better than a great hunt is a great hunt and a great moot.
So yeah, this is actually kind of two things going on at once, actually. It's a great hunt, and there's also a moot going on as well. We also get Hunter Hawk here, who says, so, Hunter, are you ready to start making a name for yourself? Hey, I've already made a name for myself, apparently. There's plenty of game out there if you skilled enough to find it. It's interesting to me that right at the start of the game, in front of one of the most probably highly trafficked NPCs out there, the devs immediately have a typo, but there you have it. I'm ready. I shall find the best trophies in this valley.
I hate to admit it, but I don't think my trophies will win.
Chin up. Even if you don't win, at least you had the privilege of meeting Newt Whitebear.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do well, Mr. Blacksmith back there. Hey, he says, now, I can tell you where you can find the prey. The rest is up to you. What exactly are you tracking? And so we can ask for one of these three things. This is actually a choice of ours, one of the first choices of the game, essentially, which one you want to go for. First, let's see. I'm looking to take down a dire boar. Well, he says, a bold choice. Head south, but be wary. Skelk have been harassing the boars lately, so you have two kinds of prey out there. Okay, boars and skelk. Got it. What else can you tell me? The bigger the better. Where do I find minotaurs? I love this idea of minotaurs. To me, in fantasy games, usually minotaurs are like some of the most deadly, ridiculous, like, end game stuff. And Guild Wars 2 opens you up as a Norn hunting them down. Big is right, my friend. Big, burly, and bad-tempered. You'll find a whole herd of minotaurs in the woods just west, okay? Well, what if I want something exotic, like an owl griffin? Now you're talking. Some owl griffins set up a rookery to the west, near the shrine to Snow Leopard. Watch your step. The owls will be guarding their young, and fiercely. Oh, God, okay, so we're gonna rob some owl griffins of their parents, eh? Brilliant. Right, so I guess we'll head out on into the woods now and see exactly what we can do. You can, at this point, take a right and sort of go continue talking to those people up towards Holbrack itself, but don't worry about that because the story takes you there moments later. If you look at my minimap, you'll actually see there are three green starbursts, and depending on which region you walk to, the starbursts will actually disappear. So this is where the three main things to hunt are. Now, depending on what other players are doing in the game at this moment, totally changes what events are around and, you know, what we have available to hunt. So right now, there is a vicious dire boar charging around.
Hey, watch where you're planting those big feet. You almost stepped in my trap.
Oh my god, they're all friggin' fighting. Sorry, did I almost step in her trap as well there? So I guess this is fine, we can fight this boar. Interestingly, all these people who hunt this boar here actually do walk up the road and go enjoy the moon once this is over. Jesus Christ, it charges foes. But we can shoot it a few times and take it out. That poor guy there, unfortunately, now has to leave and go do his own thing. So there you go. I believe when the game first came out and you made your first kill, you did actually have to walk up to it and maybe loot it and get the trophy. But now it just says, oh, look, you got the trophy straight away. I could explore a little bit more, and you guys might be excited about that. The owl griffin, I think, is up there. Actually, no, I tell a lie. The owl griffin is, like, way over there or something. It's quite a big area, though, and, of course, then the other thing that we can hunt is the Minotaur, who I was more interested in, honestly, than the boar. But a giant boar, I think that's pretty good. So that's our contribution to the Great Hunt, and hopefully... Oh, there you go. There's an Alpine Bull Minotaur here. Should we kill 2 of them? You don't get any additional reward for that, but it might be interesting to show off. So here, as you notice, as I start fighting, they all started charging at me, but then turned around and stopped, which is amazing because I'm trying to use a longbow, and I do more damage the further away they are. Why did they all turn around and stop? It's because of our pet. You see, our wolf, as yet unnamed, actually has managed to grab their aggro, and that's something just that you always benefit from as a ranger. It makes the game, as far as the original launch stuff, really way more simple and easy to work with than most other classes, just because you always have him here. Other classes obviously can get AI companions, but they have to cast them and unlock them as skills and maybe tech into them. As a ranger, you've always got that pet, and so, you know, it's a big benefit.
Typical.
Right, so we've got our trinket here. Now, let's see. Everybody's cheering us as we return. I wonder if the dialogue here will actually change with these guys now that we've...
The only thing better than a great hunt is a great hunt and a great moot.
See the mighty Minotaur horns I've brought back.
Are you sure those are from a Minotaur?
Of course they are. I wrenched them from the rampaging beast's head with my own 2 hands.
Looks like Doliac horns to me.
So killing a Doliac probably is not such a extraordinary accomplishment as these Norn would like to think.
Exhilarating, isn't it?
Hurry up, Ido. I want to get to the moot before Kettle Keg Drainer drinks all the ale.
You're at the moot, aren't you, essentially? So here's a guy called Ido the Tanner. He's who we want to present our stuff to. But on the back of this table over here, if you check it out, there is a big Norn. For some reason, he's facing his chair. He doesn't usually face his chair. He usually faces out across the table. But it's Newt Whitebear, quite an elderly-looking guy. He says, Air and I put a lot into this great hunt. Holbrack deserves the best. And here it is, the best hunters battling the fiercest prey. It will only be the best when I win the great hunt. Farewell. It's interesting because we never really hear too much about the other competitors and what makes them so great. But all eyes of the city are on this event here. And that means if we win, all eyes are on us. A great start to our legend, I'm sure. So, all right, Ido the Tanner, what do you think about my trophies?
Hail, Hunter. I'm the local leather worker. Ido's the name. Show me your kills, and I'll make them into trophies you'll be proud to show at the moot. Pricking, singing, and boasting. I love a good old-fashioned moot. Others save their parties for holidays, but I say every day alive's worth celebrating. Hey, Newt, look at this impressive trophy. Worthy of the great hunt, I'd say.
Indeed. You are skilled enough to defeat your prey, and wise enough to revere their spirits. You are worthy to join in this year's great hunt. By my own hand, I've brought the mighty worm Isormir. He waits above in the plateau for one such as you to challenge him. The great heir Stegalkin watches over him now, waiting for the hunt to commence. When it is time, you and the others will go to the high ground, over the valley. There you will face Isormir, and claim victory, if you can.
I can, and I will. This is where my legend begins.
So here, we hear about Air in the earliest point, really, in the in-game timeline. It's really cool to see what she's doing and being active with. Of course, we know where this story goes, how depressed and upset she ends up being, and to the, you know, the quite climactic moment at the sanctuary way up in the north. So it'll be interesting to see her earlier moments. Ido also says, excellent trophy. You've quite a future ahead of you. Last hunter I saw with such promise was Air Stegalkin herself. Wow, tell me, what do we face next? It's Isormir, a giant ice worm that Newt Whitebear personally captured. So Newt has to command a lot of respect, right? And I love the idea of him hauling this immense creature all the way back here just for other people to hunt. I can't think of anything that's more like badass, honestly. You'll see its name. We don't quite know what it looks like just yet. But Isormir, a giant ice worm. Isormir, I think, is kind of like from Old Norse, where like Isormir kind of would mean like ice serpent. This is what the trivia I'm led to believe is, at least. It's a test to challenge the mettle of even the best hunters. So challenging, Air herself will be there. So we get to fight alongside her. Do you know Newt Whitebear? What's he like? Well, here we get some really important backstory. That he's a great, great man, and his grandfather founded Holbrack. Newt upholds that legacy and runs Holbrook with his sons. They keep it alive and thriving. So, he's not really a leader in a conventional sense, but he is descended directly from the Norn that founded, you know, their new civilization here. You're going to hear the Norn talk a lot about the Shiver Peaks as though it's a totally separate area, and what they're really talking about is the far Shiver Peaks from our southern perspective. You know, the guy that actually came back down here in the gap between the two games, Newt, is his grandson. So they keep it alive and thriving. Brilliant. You know Air. Well, tell me more about her. She's the living legend who, with her wolf garm, just like us, she has a wolf, though hers is much, much, much bigger than ours. It's actually a black wolf as well, where we've got an Alpine wolf here. She, along with her wolf garm, triumphed over one of Jormag's mightiest lieutenants, and she's a brilliant sculptor. Yes, the skulls will sing of her for generations. So they know of her as a legend in her time many years ago now, slaying incredible beasts and demons associated with the dragons. Impressive. What about the beast we fight after the moot? Well, it's a Sormir, a giant ice worm, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I look forward to the challenge. So we get a lot of information about the people who are here and what's upcoming. That's nice. Speaking of sculptors, by the way.
Typical.
It's a big part of being a Norn, really. And you'll see there's several here. These guys are sculpting into wood logs. Here you get 3 wolves coming out. I particularly like this. Here we've got... Oh, the wolves again, aren't they? Actually, a mummy and a daddy wolf with 2 cubs. These are interesting because I don't really think you see much like this in other areas of the game. Look, this sculpture is actually working based off of his own pet that's standing, you know, stored tight so that he can carve it. That's very cool. So, yeah, anyway, we got all these guys enjoying themselves. If we drop down, we can actually follow the road now. And once we're done with the festivities and eating and drinking, we're going to go to this dramatic finale with a Sormir, the ice worm. There are some other people to speak to. Here's a bartender. Look how cool these glasses look here as well. Lovely. I'm tired of serving ale to rowdy hunters. Really? You're surrounded by happy people having fun. Grab some for yourself, we say. And she says, you're right. Maybe I'll just knock off early and fetch myself around for a change. Toss back a few ales, boast a little, maybe sing a few dirty songs. Ooh, that's the spirit. Get out there and enjoy the bartender. So this is one of several places in the game that I believe was influenced and implemented by their early decisions to have energy potions as a mechanic. And this would be a place where you could like maybe restock on those, and the game would be teaching you about that mechanic here even right now. But of course, that's not a thing, so a lot of this stuff was just kind of repurposed now and doesn't really do anything, but it's a bit of flavor. Here you get another bartender. Working at Moot has its perks. I'm the only one who remembers all the funny things, so I get to tell the best stories. A toast then. May we be plenty of fodder for the storytelling. And storytelling obviously being a big part of our lives. So these guys are practicing on their target. So what we can actually do is enter combat mode and with our crosshair actually aim. So, you know, if I shoot up at that rock, we hit the rock. If we shoot all the way up there towards that shaman, we can aim. So you can actually practice like this and try and hit the bullseyes. But there's no actual reason to. It would just be a bit of fun for people using this combat style. And not much else. But yeah, we got some warriors here. It's nice. I always find when I'm playing the game really slow, I like to do stuff like that. Maybe that's really stupid of me. But here. And hey, it may actually pay off way later in some of the expansions. So, what else we got? Well, some woodcutters, some locals, some children. These guys all have lots of dialogue for what it's worth as well. If you hang around long enough, you're likely to hear things that they're talking about that no one else would.
Must have been 20 feet tall.
So this person's talking about a Sormir up there being 20 foot tall.
Step into my arena and test your fighting prowess. What better way to prepare for victory in the great hunt?
Thing
Once
almost
those
took off my
gates
foot.
open, there's no turning back. Get ready to fight.
So here we actually have an optional objective. I love that guy there mentioning he fell in one of the traps we were looking at before.
Definitely a better hunter than you. Why, I once killed a Minotaur with my bare hands.
How did a Minotaur get your bare hands?
Raven's beak, woman. What are you... Oh, I see what you did there. Very clever.
These guys are all like facing the wrong way. So yeah, there's a little side event you can do here, which is kind of the stalling mechanic we've discussed before. This one here we can use to actually take out the Skelk or whatever might come out of these cages. You actually find creatures that come out of these cages that you won't find anywhere else right in this mountain region at this point.
That was a waste.
You want more? Your wish is my command.
it kind of all depends on how long the event up there is going in the next bit of the story and the different kind of enemies that come out. I believe oak hearts can come out, which is a very, very, very rare situation. But yeah, so we can cleave those down. Obviously, some other players in the area dealing with that right now, and we'll just let them have their fun. There's another guy here called Varg, who we might want to remember. He says, "Go on, get out of my face, you stupid punk quaggan kisher. You ain't got ale. You ain't got nothing." Okay, Varg. So we can say, well, take it easy, pal. I think you've had a few too many. He says, "Oh, yeah? I'll show you who's had too many. Right after I finish this one." What's our ferocious option? You're right. All I've got is 2 big fists, and I know you don't want either one. Come on, then. Show me your big fish, and I'll... Wait, what was it? Who are you again? So, I'm the one who's walking away from a pickled moron.
Ale makes me want to hunt, and hunting makes me want ale. What else is there?
That sounds like a bit of a complex lady. And the last thing I really want to show you guys is, yeah, this pathway up here. That's to the city itself, but the gate is closed, and we're not really meant to go up there just yet. Just interesting to point out that NPCs do come flooding down the roads to repopulate these areas and then run out and go hunting.
I bet you're all warmed up and ready for a storm here. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't, because I'm not.
Hail to the finest hunters of the season.
I could go for some ribs.
Follow me if you dare, and ready yourselves for battle.
So here we go. We're with Air. This is awesome. And we get to move on up. Hold on. There's this one guy that I want to speak to. Mikkel Tolverson, who's a champion. He says, "Well, I didn't know the Great Hunt was open to worthless losers. What are you doing here, Ulfric Romkason? Besides embarrassing yourself, how dare you? Drunk again, Mikkel? I guess seeing your face in the mirror would drive anybody to drink. What did you say? I'd break you in half, but then the judges would probably disqualify me. But I won't forget this. You'd forget your own name if your mum didn't stitch it into your undergarments." So he's a potential nemesis of ours based on various choices we might decide to make.
What are you waiting for? Get up those stairs and join the hunt.
But yeah, so they want us to go on up.
May snow leopard grant you swiftness and grace.
So that's exactly what we're going to do. Here we get to speak to shamans on our way up. 1 for each of the 4 major totems. First is leopard. Don't hesitate. Snow leopard smiles upon you. You will not see her, but she is watching. Well, I can't wait to show her victory, we say.
May Raven bless you, the vision to see, and the wisdom to understand.
I can see you've traveled far.
So Raven says, Raven's path to victory is straight and sure. Follow it. We can move on up with the Wolf Shaman as the next. You see how they leave Bear for last? I really like that little touch.
Walk with the pack. In the eyes of Wolf, we are all brothers and sisters.
Go now, Hunter. May Wolf's howl spur you to victory. Thank you, Shaman. I'm on my way. Here we get Air as well. He says, "Welcome. I've heard about you. Some good things, some not so good, and some things I just don't believe. I look forward to seeing you prove yourself." And as we come to the top here, we see some worms. Lastly, there's Bear, who says, "Your time's come. Be like Bear. Move forward with overwhelming force, and I'll make Bear proud." And yeah, we get a little arena here with lots of ice worm hatchlings. These are not what Newt White Bear brought down for us to hunt. This is just like a little mini pre-stage for the big boss, Isormir. Man, I love this cutscene. Just that little cutscene way back being shown off in the early demo conventions.
There's our prey. Go on, Hunter. Show us what you can do.
Ah, it's so exciting to me. So here it is. Isormir. Got a lot of cool abilities.
Don't forget about the little ones. They're dangerous too.
First, they got this big swing ability, which, you know, knocks you away.
At him. Don't let Garm have all the fun.
When she buries her head in the ground, you can attack the head too.
He's reeling. Let's finish him off.
We can choose as a ranger to shoot the head or the base.
All hail the Slayer of Isormir. Now return to the Snow Lord's Gate as no mere hunter, but a champion.
Just the start of our story, really. The hunter, the slayer of Isormir, and that's what we'll mostly be remembered as. The great victor of the great hunt.
What a hunt! I heard about your victory. Very impressive.
Thank you. It was a hard-fought battle, and I'm proud of my part in it.
An excellent beginning to your legend, friend. You know, a lot of folks around here have problems that need solving. A slayer like you could be a big help. Putting your skills to work sharpens them, and helping others wouldn't hurt your reputation either. Think of the glory.
I will seek out these problems and solve them. Then we shall see how my legend grows.
So, Ulfric enters the real world here. We get a new longbow. Our original one was a cracked longbow, so that's what you can see on my back right now. This wooden one should look a little bit different and is a little bit stronger, so we can equip that. You see it's a little bit more bendy here. We unlock the skin. We can throw that away. We get our level 2 rewards, which teaches us about the hero panel, about the fact our stats increase, and gives us another skill as well. So now not only do we have our long range shot, but we have our skill 2, fire multiple arrows at a single foe, and you kind of just go nuts. This reminds me a lot of like warriors on greatsword with 100 blades, where you just get tons and tons of packets of damage on the kind of quite accessible skill 2. So here there's a doe all the way over there. If I rapid fire it, we can do a ton of damage and apply 10 vulnerability, making our next attacks even heavier. So yeah, I think that, but for what it's worth, the Wayfarer foothills, and most prominently the southern Wayfarer foothills, where we are right now in the world, is some of the most beautiful areas in all of Guild Wars, particularly during the day. I love the colors, I love the sound of the birds, it's all so wonderful. But hey, who we got here? Habel Icebreaker. He was the guy just speaking to us in the cutscene. Ulfric, how goes the legend building? Not slowing down, are you? Haha! Never! I could kill 100 ice worms before breakfast! That's the spirit. I hope you survive to come back and share tales of your exploits over a beer. If you're lucky, I'll tell you what it's like to be the greatest keg ball player in Holbrack. Wow, keg brawl. Not sure we've heard of that, but we'll see. Legends take time, Havel. I've got many great deeds ahead of me. I love that line. Just knowing how vast the MMO is and how much stuff there is, you do really feel like these are very humble beginnings, right? Even though we've destroyed this freaking massive worm. That means many great tales for me, and keep the scolds in the loop too, or they'll make up songs about you that would flatter for a diseased dredge. Okay, I wouldn't want that. Thanks for the tip. He also says, not slowing down. We say never, rest easy. I'll be back with tales of adventure to amaze you. He says, it's a deal. You bring the tail and ale, I'll bring the ears. And we say, believe me, I've been busy. How about you? He says, I'm up to my story-loving ears and visitors. Char caravans to Holbrack. Mighty warriors on the move. What a place for epic stories over a frosty flagon. Sure is, my friend. Good hunting. So the Norn are all about, you know, crafting these great adventures, having these wonderful stories that they can live on even after they've passed on to the mists or whatnot, right? So the town is back there. What I actually kind of want to start with, the bartenders, I guess, have shifted duty here. What I kind of want to start with, actually, is doing a little bit of stuff around this area of the world. This building here is actually where the game began, funnily enough. It's kind of weird to reconcile that fact once you come out here into the real world. But let's have a speak to some people. Our original objective is going to be to get to level 10, and then the rest of the story will unlock. We'll find the fallout of becoming the Slayer of Isormir. Oscar says, hello there. Have you enjoyed your time in the Borealis Forest? Yes, I am. I love this place. I prefer the quiet of the forest to the noise of a big city like Holbrack. Yeah, I have to run, we say. Okay. Here we got some guys just drinking. You got this lovely Norn fire with the spit. Oh, makes me want a kebab, guys. Although I think that's just a straight-up pig that they've got spinning around on that, don't they? It's not necessarily a good lamb doner. But yeah, so let's speak to the scout and get a little bit of an approximation of what there is to do in this general area. Agnar, hi.
This valley is a sacred but dangerous place. Visit the shrines to the spirits of the wild. You'll be tested by both our enemies and the spirits themselves. And look out for extraordinary chances to prove your courage. You honor us all by acting without being called. There's much ground for you to cover, but you can speed your travels by finding the Asuran waypoints. You may have to pay a small fee to return to them faster than the Ravenflies.
So there they talk about the Asura having been here with their waypoints. It's funny because the Norn really don't seem to know much about the Asura or talk about the Asura. It just feels like such the opposite end of the whole world when you're here amongst the Norn to think about the Asura. So I always like that little moment with the waypoint there. So yeah, kind of the big theme and idea of these original areas are that there are several shrines to the main 4 totem spirits of the wild that we can learn about them at. and pray at and, you know, do things. So the first one you find is Raven, funnily enough, where we have a heart that you can participate in by, say, collecting raven eggs from ravens in the area and returning them to their roost, like here. This roost contains a pungent mixture of rotting meat, berries, and insects. The many feathers near the feeder show that it's a popular destination for visiting ravens. So we put eggs in their roost. I wonder if the devs had an idea once upon a time that you'd add stuff for food for them. But we just gave them eggs, and that's enough. But one of my favorite dynamic events in the game actually triggers here. You can see some players are doing it right now. To answer riddles posed by raven statues. So you come up to each statue, and you're asked to think. I feast on air, but drink no water. I have no eyes of my own, but without me, you are blind. What am I? A tree, a bird, or fire? Well, this is fire, obviously, right? So when we choose that, it says, well done, your cleverness is a gift from Raven, and it actually pushes the dynamic event and my heart progress at the same time. Consume me and you will choke, but within me is the key to life and growth. What am I? A slain animal, not necessarily money. You are Earth. Raven is pleased with your insight. So you can go around doing that. I always love when this event is up. It's one of my favorite things to do when I come here. We can speak to the shaman of this area. He says, have you come to test yourself against the wisdom of Raven? I have. Tend Raven's flock while he rests. When he returns, he will test your wits. What does Raven's flock need? Well, speak to this other shaman. She knows what the flock needs. So that's very nice. It looks like the other players in the area will probably finish the last of the riddles in a second. There you go. And we get silver reward just for, you know, answering some questions. Doesn't even rely on any combat. And I think that a lot of hearts could be more like that and do things more like that. So yeah, we get some eggs that we can return to roosts. You also get, for what it's worth, a sneaky, if you jump over this fence, which isn't the easiest thing to do always, like so, you can actually jump up onto those posts and get that vista on top of the building. You get a really nice flyby of the area and, you know, sort of takes you through some of the pretty areas. I think looks up towards the city with those great beasts carved into the mountain. But we won't worry with that just yet. Moving along, there's another ranger here, actually. That's kind of cool. He has a wolf just like us. Oh, okay, so here's another thing, I think. Let's go have a quick look, unless this belongs to another player. No, here it is. So, here at the Raven Shrine, we do find, sitting here is a Juvenile Raven. This is just one of many creatures you find all around Tyria, everywhere, that as a ranger, and only as a ranger, this profession alone, we can interact with. And so you'll see as I walk close, it says to charm. If I was a warrior, I couldn't do this, but by pressing F and charming it, check it out. I've tamed a Juvenile Raven. The original game had a little bit more interaction in terms of actually taming things that I thought was more fun, kind of got called away in this game. But here, you'll see the Raven has various skills that it would like to use. Here's one's called Slash. We don't know what these other skills are until we level it up a bit more as a ranger and we learn more about the creatures of the world. But there is this character here called Act, and we get a nice little quote about ravens. The raven is cunning and clever. Its intelligence makes them excellent scouts. In combat, they evade attacks and strike at their foes to blind them. Their foes' eyes to blind them. It says, would you like to equip now? Well, I'm actually going to say no for now. We'll talk more about equipping pets later. But now, as I travel on my adventures, this raven will come to my beck and call and can help fight for me. So, yes, the character creator for a ranger, you don't get to choose raven right off the bat. But the very first place you come once the game begins, there's lots of juvenile ravens you can grab. And, in fact, as a Norn, all the major opening pets are available quite quickly for going to these various shrines, and hopefully you'll find juveniles of their respective ones around. It's not really my intent with Ulfric to go and get every single pet in the game, but we'll do it where we find it's intelligent and where we're having fun and whatnot, right? So anyway, that's the Ravens area. I haven't quite finished the heart. The rest of it would just be putting eggs in though, so we're not really missing out on anything. We can ask her about Raven a bit more. She says, have you come to see what the eye cannot? Have you come to discover what is hidden by shadow? Well, sit, listen, hear what Raven has to say. How can I help Raven? Use Raven's sight to find eggs that have fallen from the nests and return them to their roosts. Slay any skelk you see as they eat at the sacred eggs. So yeah, if we come back down the road now, and it just feels so cluttered. There's nice, foliage around, and oh man, makes me feel really happy traveling these areas, the Norn maps. Yeah, you'll see that there's lots of skelks. So these are skelk nests, and we can get heart progress by just trying to break it. The thing is, they're quite tricky to break, particularly with a bow. We gotta, aim at the right place. But here we can smash it down. And you see the front caves in like so, and we get some good heart credit. We would also get heart credit just for straight up culling skelk populations in the area. Moving a bit further down the road, we can find more Norn hanging out. There's some very cool trivia I want to show you here. So let's see. There's the waypoint, which I guess we've already unlocked, so that's nice. We've got some locals. These guys are training. Once again, we can practice on the targets. There should totally be an achievement somewhat to do with hitting all the targets around Tyria. Wouldn't it be cool? I'd love to have a real reason for doing this each time. But yeah, we get these guys. Some more training dummies.
Come here.
This guy's beckoning to us. Hello. Welcome to Heroes Moot. You having a good time? What is this place? It's where we gather to relax, drink, and regroup before heading out on our next adventure. I'm ready for my next adventure. Where should I go? He says you should visit the sacred shrines. Talk to Droman down by the fire pit. He reveres all spirits. I think this is a really important NPC because most new players will be walking down here and wondering what to do. Guild Wars isn't a game. Like, you know, I don't have a quest log or any traditional objectives right now whatsoever. Particularly at release, I wouldn't. I mean, nowadays, you'd have the content guide just making you do map completion. It would be a bit lame. But, you know, NPCs like that were instrumental in keeping the game immersive and whatnot. Here, there's a warrior. She says, please, leave me in peace. I'm going to sneak Snow Leopard's wisdom. Why Snow Leopard? Well, Snow Leopard is the quiet hunter, the stalker in the snow. Her subtle way suits me. I seek to learn the ways to track and kill my prey swiftly and silently. Here's Droman. But yeah, the trivia I wanted to offer, okay, is this awesome building here. There's like this cool doorway that it suggests you might be able to go into and stuff. But essentially what this is a prison, guys, right? So you can see behind the bars here, there's a son of Svarnir there. So one of the Norn that has fallen to the influence of Jormag and reveres that dragon as its main totem. Ulfric will be learning all about those at the start of his adventure very soon. And over in this one as well, there's actually a pickpocket. The funny thing about these is, as a ranger, I can unlock a skill on my longbow that allows me to kill them while they're in jail. And it's kind of a sad thing that you can basically pull off and then other players won't find them in the cells. But yeah, look, the locals are sort of looking at them. This place doesn't seem too nice. I mean, it's very peaceful here, but what's going on, Droman?
You must visit more often.
This forest is a sacred place. You can really feel the presence of the spirits of the wild. That's why we build shrines to bear, snow leopard, raven, and wolf here. Well, tell me about the shrines. The shrines honor the spirits of bear, raven, snow leopard, and wolf. Talk to a shaman if you want to know more. You'll find one at every shrine. Well, tell me, where's wolf? Go to the south. The shrine is in a den on this side of the river. Okay, well, thanks very much. Maybe we'll check out wolf. We got this building here as well with Hilda hanging out. Hello, Hilda. Got anything for me? You looking for Canny? She went on a raid to the Gruul Cave. She said she's going to figure out what happened to that missing hunting party or die trying. Wait, what? A hunting party? Something flew into that cave by Gruulenfjord and riled up the Gruul. Then some Norn disappeared. A few hunters went there looking for a challenge, but they never came back. Canny went after them. So yeah, there's just a sense of adventure and things going on all the time. She says, here, I'll mark it on your map. Canny's a clever hunter, but there's something wrong in that cave. Bear, help you both. And by doing that, it's lit up the dynamic event now. So when I look on my map, I can actually see it's you know, we'd follow this road, go along, and so on. So yeah, that's basically the start of the Norn adventure. That's where you're left in Wayfarer Foothills. It's truly gorgeous. We'll be seeing a lot of that in the upcoming episodes. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time, where we'll probably already be level 10. Oh god, we tried to sit on that bench and it didn't work at all there. And we will progress forwards with the story. So, this is Ulfric. See you next time.